Shikara. Hello and welcome, hardworking aspirants. So, today we are going to talk about the socio-religious reform movements in India. And let's start with a story. A story about the Parsis who came to India from Iran and they entered in Sanjan in Gujarat. And there, when they asked the king over there that they wanted to live there, the king sent them a glass full of milk. The glass full of milk depicted that already there was a lot of population in Gujarat Sanjan and it was not possible to accommodate them. The Parsi chief, whoever it was, he mixed a spoon of sugar in the glass milk and sent it back to the king, depicting that we will mix like the sugar in the milk and we will help the society to grow. And that promise is still valid. You see Tata still working into the socio-religious reforms in India. We'll also see about Raja Ram Mohan Roy, the very famous Raja Ram Mohan Roy, about whom you must know that he fought against the sati system. But many few know that his own sister-in-law, elder brother's wife, was sati, and he could not do anything but watch it happen helplessly. Yes, those were the persons who went through all these things and then they went on to reform the society and bring about the social reform movement in India. So today we are going to discuss that. If you want the PDF of this class for free, you can join our Telegram channel and there you will get the PDF for free. Also, if you have any question for us, for any of the educator, this is the number where you can call and ask any question for free. And also, if you are preparing seriously for TSPSC Group 1, Group 2 or for UPSC CSE, for TSPSC, it has been delayed. I understand the notification, but you should not delay your preparation. Rather, you should use this opportunity to prepare double well, triple well, so that whenever the exam comes, you are very ready for that. Okay, so if you want to get enrolled in these classes, you can call on the numbers given below. And let's get started with our class today. So, by now in the modern history, we have already done many classes where we have seen the advent of Europeans. We saw the Portuguese, the French, the Dutch and the Britishers, and the Britishers' consolidation of power. Very famous Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar, and all those classes are already recorded and you can go in the playlist and watch them. But through the measures, we have come to a place where we are going to see that there is a few reform movements, and what are these reform movements and what is the historical context and the genesis when we talk about it. So there are multiple factors when we talk about it. Okay, first and foremost, we need to see that there was this British colonial rule, while exploitative, inadvertently exposed the weakness in the Indian social institution, and it also is introducing the Western liberal ideas of democracy at that time. It's introducing individualism, and it's also talking about the rational thinking. Okay, so the rational thinking is here. Very good evening, Shraddha explains. And the introduction of modern Western education gave birth to a new awakening among the Indians at that time. The freedom of press under British rule, this is also bringing thoughtful Indians to the educated society, and the Western educated Indians were particularly impressed by the modern science and the doctrines of religion and humanism. Basically, now people have started to question, okay, why something is happening, what's the reason behind that. And first and foremost, we are going to start with the Hindu reform movement of that time. Okay, so the Hindu reform movement, number one, we are going to discuss the Brahmo Samaj of 1828. The Brahmo Samaj obviously was founded by Raja Ram Mohan Roy in 1828 in Calcutta, and it marked the beginning of India's modern socio-religious reform movements. He was known as the father of Indian Renaissance. Renaissance basically means a new awakening. Okay, So Roy sought to reform and purify Hinduism while promoting monotheism and eliminating social evils like sati system, caste discrimination and child marriage. It is also believed that Raja Ram Mohan Roy had studied the pious books of every religion. Okay, hello, scroll with Satyam, good evening. So that is also an advantage that was with Raja Ram Mohan Roy, that he knew almost the core principles of every religion, because he has said to have read Quran as well as the Vedas as well as the Bible. So he wanted to rationalize it. Okay. So key principles of the Brahmo Samaj and the achievements of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, let's see them. So he promoted worship of one god without any intermediary. So that is called monotheism. Okay, when you are just worshipping one god. Successfully campaigned against the sati, leading to its abolition by the British government in 1829. Advocated for women's education and widow remarriage, and emphasized rational thinking and modern scientific approach at that time. He also established the foundation for subsequent reform movements. So the Brahmo Samaj combined ancient Vedic teachings with Western rational thought, creating a unique synthesis that influenced the broader reform movement. Roy's effort also extended beyond religious reform to include education and establishing schools to popularize the modern education at that time. So important objectives and principles, if we see, he believed in monotheism. Monotheism, I said you, it is promoted the worship of a single formless god. Also believed in the rational worship. What is rational worship? Where you have practical reasons for doing something. Okay, you are not just doing the rituals and priesthood, rather you are emphasizing on prayer and meditation at that time. Next is the rejection of the avatars and the Vedas. So at that time, when you see this ritualism and these avatars and the Vedas, according to the Brahmo Samaj and the Raja Ram Mohan Roy, it was preaching superstition at that time. So that's why they were rejecting this. And universalism, that is supported the idea of a universal religion that translates into the division. Okay, so what we say that the whole world is a family of ours. That's the main idea of Sanatan Dharma. So that is what was preached at that time. By whom? It was preached by Raja Ram Mohan Roy at that time. Okay, so abolition of sati, that is something that is what was the work of Raja Ram Mohan Roy at that time. And he was also supported by a governor general at that time. Who was that governor general? It was William Bentinck. Promotion of widow remarriage, also supporting the dignity and right of the widows, women's education and rights, opposition of the caste system, child marriage and polygamy, as well as rationalism, where you encourage the intellectual debate to replace the superstition and the dogma at that time. So this is something that you should note down. Okay. And the next, when we see the key leaders, so Raja Ram Mohan Roy, and then we have the Devendranath Tagore. We also have the case of Chandra Sen and the Rabindranath Tagore. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy was the founder of the Brahmo Samaj that we have seen. Devendranath Tagore strengthened and developed the movement after Roy's death. Then we have the K.C. Sen or Keshav Chandra Sen, who joined in 1857, introduced more radical reforms, and his ideas later caused a split. And Rabindranath Tagore, Nobel laureate and son of Devendranath Tagore, influenced by the Brahmo ideals at that time. So this is what we should know about. Okay, next let's just see the Arya Samaj of 1875. So Arya Samaj at 1875 was founded by Swami Dayanand Saraswati. He was born as Mool Sankar in 1824 in Gujarat, and in Bombay on April 10, 1875. This is what he founded the Arya Samaj, and it represented a more orthodox yet reformist approach compared to the Brahmo Samaj. The movement motto was back to Vedas, and this is asked again and again, who said or who gave the slogan back to Vedas. So please remember, it was for Arya Samaj by Swami Dayanand Saraswati, and reflected its belief in the infallible authority of the Vedic scriptures while rejecting later Hindu practices. Okay, so it emphasized a lot on the Vedas at that time, but it opposed the superstitious beliefs, so promoted Vedic monotheism and rejected idol worship, challenged the caste system and untouchability, advocated for women's rights and education, established the DAV, that is the, still you see DAV schools are very popular, Dayanand Anglo Vedic Educational Institution, and promoted Hindi language and Indian nationalism at that time. The Arya Samaj was the first Hindu organization to practice proselytization, that is actively working to reconvert those who had left Hinduism. So whoever has been converted, they are being converted back to Hinduism. Arya Samaj also launched the Shuddhi movement with the goal to reconvert people who left Hinduism for other faiths at that time. So the movement split in 1893 into two groups. So one was the DAV group, which supported modern education, and the second was the Gurukul group, which preferred traditional Vedic education at that time. The key features, if we talk about, it was monotheism, that is the Arya Samaj advocates the worship of one formless God, the very same as the Brahmo Samaj. Vedas as authority, this is different from them. The Vedas are regarded as divine revelation and the highest guide for spiritual, social and ethical life. Social reform fought against social evils such as caste discrimination, child marriage, sati, promoted widow marriage. So everything is similar what was there in the Brahmo Samaj. And educational reforms, if you see, established Gurukuls and later Dayanand Anglo vernacular schools to spread Vedic knowledge. Even Brahmo Samaj also wanted to propagate the modern education. Some of the main principles include all true knowledge originates from God. God is omniscient, omnipotent, eternal. The Vedas are the true scriptures. Dharma, or the deliberate examination of good and evil, guides all actions. Advancement of material, spiritual and social well-being for all. Promotion of compassion, justice and equality among humans. And abolition of ignorance and social ill thoughts through education. So all these points are included if tomorrow it comes in the mains or if comes in the prelims, just to confuse you, so that you should remember all these points. Now next is the Ramakrishna Mission of 1897. So the Ramakrishna Mission founded by Swami Vivekananda. Who was Ramakrishna? Ramakrishna was the Guru of Swami Vivekananda. On May 1, 1897 represented a unique synthesis of spiritual practice. So named after the mystic Ramakrishna Paramhansa, the mission emphasized the universality of religions and the importance of selfless service to humanity. Still today you can go to the Belur Mutt and there you can see whatever the remains are there, and also just beside that if you go, there is a temple of goddess Kali, and there you will find Ramakrishna's room, okay, and you can just have the clear idea. I always believe that if you get the opportunity to visit the historical places, they will give you more information than what you can get from the book, so you should do that. And with the fundamental principle was Atmano Mochartham Jagat Hitaya Cha, that is for one's salvation and for the welfare of the world. Practical Vedanta emphasizing that spirituality should address social issues, unity of all religions leading to the same divine truth, and service to humanity as the highest form of worship. So this is something that was preached there. The mission's contributions span education, healthcare, disaster relief and rural development. Operating around 1200 educational institutions and numerous hospitals and dispensaries, Vivekananda's emphasis on practical Vedanta and his famous speeches at Chicago Parliament of Religions. This is very famous in 1893 and it is also asked in the examination. Next is the Pratna Samaj of 1867. So the Pratna Samaj, meaning prayer society, was established in Bombay on March 31, 1867 by Dr. Atmaram Pandurang with support from prominent reformers like Mahadev Govind Ranade and R.G. Bandarkar. The movement emerged from the earlier Paramhansa Sabha and was influenced by the visit of Kesab Chandra Sen from the Brahmo Samaj. So you should remember the names of the ones who were involved in the foundation of the Pratna Samaj, because Pratna Samaj has come in the UPSC. It's there in the previous year questions. You can go and check. The key features and the contributions when we talk about the Pratna Samaj, the promoted the monotheism and denounced adultery at that time, advocated for caste equality and widow remarriage, supported women's education and social reforms, opposed polygamy and child marriage, and maintained closer ties to Hindu traditions compared to Brahmo Samaj. So it was a bit more close to Brahmo Samaj at that time because there was influence of Kesab Chandra Sen. The Pratna Samaj was less radical than its Bengali counterpart, making it more acceptable to the general public while still promoting significant social changes. Practices and legacy: if you see, members worshipped a formless god and drew from Hindu scriptures, that is Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, and incorporated hymns from Marathi poets, saints in their prayers. The society did not strictly require members to give up traditional garments or caste, making it comparatively more conservative than Brahmo Samaj. And Pratna Samaj became a hub for progressive thought at that time. Next is the Muslim Reform Movement, and this is very famous, the Aligarh Movement of 1875. It was led by Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, who is also known as the modern Muslim education reformer, and this was something he founded with the establishment of the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College in Aligarh in 1875. The movement was aimed to uplift the Muslim community through modern education while also preserving the Islamic values. Please remember that it might come to confuse you that it only emphasized on the modern education. No, it was also preserving the Islamic values, promoted rational interpretation of Islam compatible with modern science, established the English medium educational institution, advocated for Muslim political representation, published the Tahdib ul Akhlaq magazine to spread reformist ideas, and initially supported Hindu-Muslim unity but later focused on separate Muslim interests. Sir Syed's approach differed markedly from the Deoband movement as he embraced Western education and initially maintained loyalty to the British government, believing that political involvement would be detrimental to the Muslim progress. So he wanted the upliftment of the Muslim society or the Muslim community, and that is why he also wanted to take the help of the Britishers. Next is the Deoband movement of 1866. The Deoband movement represents the orthodox response to the colonial rule and Western influences established by Maulana Muhammad Qasim Natawi and the Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi in 1866. Okay. So the movement centered around the Darul Uloom Deoband, an Islamic seminary that became a focal point of traditional Islamic learning at that time. So the fundamental principles, if we see, of the Deoband movement: propagation for pure teachings with the Quran and Hadith, preservation of Islamic traditions free from Western influence, resistance to colonial rule and cultural imperialism, rejection of religious innovation, and support for Indian nationalism and Indian National Congress. The Deoband movement stood in stark contrast to the Aligarh movement, rejecting English education and government deployment while focusing on religious scholarship and anti-colonial resistance. The movement's influence extended globally, establishing madrasa in Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and other Muslim regions. Next is the Sikh, Parsi, and the other community reforms. Forget it not, we are also going to continue it in the second class. So we will have all the social reform movements covered. So the next is the Singh Sabha movement of 1873. It began in Amritsar in 1873 as a defensive response to Christian missionary activities and Hindu reform movements like the Arya Samaj. And the movement aimed to restore Sikh identity and the religious practices to their original purity. Major achievements, if we talk about: established Sikh schools and promoted Gurumukhi literacy, founded the Chief Khalsa Diwan in 1883, built Khalsa College in Amritsar in 1892, published Sikh literature and periodicals, and challenged Brahmanical practices and caste discrimination. The movement successfully countered the threat of assimilation into Hinduism and revitalized Sikh consciousness, leading to later movements for control of Gurudwaras. Next is the Parsi movement. We started the class with the Parsis. The Rahnumai Majdasan Sabha, that is the Religious Reform Association, was founded in 1851 in Bombay by Naroji Furdonji, Dadabhai Naroji, K.R. Kama, and S.S. Bengali. The movement aimed to regenerate Parsi social condition and restore Zoroastrian religion to its pristine purity. Key reforms, if we talk about: so promoted women's education and gender equality, opposed child marriage and elaborate ceremonial practices, eliminated superstitious practices and promoted rationality, published the General Rast Goftar, to spread reform ideas and made the Parsi community the most westernized section of Indian society. Some of the very famous Parsis: Dadabhai Naroji, J.R.D. Tata, Jamshedji Tata, Motila Bai Manikchand Wadia, and then Bhikaji Kama. Okay, and just 1 minute. We also have Dr. Homi Bhabha, we also have Ardesi Godrej, and we also have Ardesir Wadia. Okay, so Parsis still today, you see, they are very active in Indian reforms. And with that, we have come to the end of this class. If you want the PDF of this classes for free, you can join our Telegram channel. And also, if you have any question regarding your preparation, for free, you can call us and ask your question with any of the educator. So let's see if you have this question: which of the following statement about the Brahmo Samaj is or are correct? It was founded by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Yes, it advocated for monotheism and opposed idol worship. It split into two organizations into the 19th century. So what is the correct answer? All the three are correct. You can pause the video and see the explanation. Which among the following was a key objective of Arya Samaj? It must have been propagation of Vedic knowledge and eradication of social evils. So the correct answer is that. Again, you can pause the video and see the explanation. The Shuddhi movement associated with the reconversion to Hinduism was started by, obviously it was started by Arya Samaj, not Brahmo Samaj, not Aligarh Movement. And the next question: the Aligarh Movement led by Sir Syed Ahmed Khan primarily advocated what? Promotion for Vedic education from modern scientific education among Muslims, opposition to Western knowledge, support for Orthodox beliefs. So let's see the last question. The Ramakrishna Mission founded by Swami Vivekananda is best known for focusing on religious concepts, spiritual uplift and social welfare activities, promoting monotheism only, and opposing all forms of social evil. So this is the correct answer. So guys, with that we have come to the end of the class, but this can be the beginning for you. If you are preparing for UPSC, TSPSC or APPSC for one-on-one live mentorship by Deepika ma'am, you should join the live mentorship program. And why Deepika ma'am? Because she has been active as an educator for 20 plus years, and she has guided hundreds of aspirants into administrative services. So you should not waste any time and call on the numbers given below. And then nothing goes away if you call and just inquire. If you find it good, you can go ahead. If you don't find it good, nobody is forcing you, but I am forcing you to keep consistently working hard. That's what I will suggest you should, because today or tomorrow you will be successful. Okay, namaskar.